Yeah. So the making sure that I managed to get an epidural was like one of the main things in my birth plan because I was extremely anxious about experiencing the extreme pain that comes with childbirth. So I as someone who already struggles with finding sensations overwhelming, um, and knows that like experiencing overwhelming bodily sensations can lead me into a meltdown. Um, I was scared that the experience of childbirth would trigger a meltdown. And I was scared that I would not be able to manage that. And I was scared of any impacts that that might have on my baby through the whole process. So the epidural was absolutely essential for me. And so to plan for that, I talked to the Women's Individual Needs Clinic about my birth plan, and they were super supportive and said that I can come into the hospital to when I am in the early stages of labor, and they can make sure that there's enough time to get the epidural, and also can support me with my quite extreme anxiety around the whole process and around the sensory experience of going into labor. Um, and they made notes of that on my files and things, and that was all really comforting. But then I had a clinic doctor appointment wherein the doctor was extremely dismissive of my fears about not getting an epidural. So he, yeah, he just said that they don't, they don't, they don't deny people epidurals, and said about the coming into the hospital early that, or if everyone came into the hospital when labor's like earlier stages of labor, then the hospital would just be full. Um, and which really made me feel extremely bad because it made me feel quite uh quite guilty, like I was draining on the resources by having additional needs. I ended up having what's called a precipitous labor because I was in less than 3 hours of active labor. So it was really lucky that I was there early enough to get the epidural because it was very rapid once it started. If I'd waited for the warning signs, I might have missed the opportunity to get the epidural, and which was another area that I was really worried about
Mm.
with the whole going into labor experience. They tell you all these things to look out for, like that are heavily based on what you feel and experience in your own body. And for somebody with interoception challenges, that's insanely anxiety inducing to think that the time that I need to go to access like absolutely essential medical care is dependent upon my ability to read my own body's physical cues, which is something that I am very well aware that I do not do very well. So that was another reason why I was really wanted to go into hospital earlier, than waiting until it was at the kind of the later stages of labor, because I was worried that I wouldn't notice the progression, or I wouldn't notice at the right times as it happened, or that by the time I by the time I noticed, my body would be completely overwhelmed and freaking out and unable to manage getting into the hospital. There was this so many anxious variables, and my primary support person is also autistic, so I didn't feel like I would necessarily be able to get us both into the hospital for like at later stages when my body is already in overwhelm as well.